Welcome to the regular meeting of the Cape Coral Youth Council. Today is February 6, 2026. This meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Vice Chair, please call the roll.
Thank you, Chair. The following members have asked to be excused. I will mark them so. Members Monso Perez, Salazar, Vargas, and Riley. When I call your name, please say here. Member Bice?
Here.
Beichthaler?
Here.
Halsey?
Here.
Jax?
Here.
Johnson?
Here.
Paragonda?
Here.
Sanchez? Skorzak?
Here.
Toro?
Here.
Zapata Vasquez.
Here.
5 members are absent, 10 are present.
Thank you, Vice Chair. We will now move on to item 4, guest speakers. We were going to make can I make the change now or?
No, that's all right, keep going till you get to the changes to the agenda.
Okay. So do I just start with item B then for the second guest speaker?
Correct.
Okay, so we were first going to start with guest speaker B, Vice Mayor Holly Smith of Sanibel. Today we have the luxury of her coming and speak with us. At this time, please give her her full attention and wait for any questions till the end.
Don't know if I did that or not. Let me get my stuff ready for you here. Miss Johnson, you and I have met before, but I know your father very well. I was actually president of the Horizon Foundation and was one of the people who hired your dad. And I am still on the Horizon Foundation and on the Horizon Council. So I know, looks like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So it's really nice to see both of you here today. And congratulations for being on this youth council. Yeah. Actually, congratulations to all of you ladies. It's such an honor to be here today. I've got a little bit of a presentation for you. No prompts up there or anything, but I just want to talk to you about the Florida League of Cities, about the National League of Cities, who I am, but more importantly, I want to talk about you. And I get to travel all around the state. My presidency for the Florida League of Cities, which basically encompasses all 411 cities, towns, and villages for the state of Florida. And I have a one-year presidency. It started in August of this year and will end in August. And it's really exciting to be able to travel around the state. I've been to about 211 or so municipalities since stepping on, representatives to many of those municipalities going to, similar to what you have. You have your youth leagues, and we have our regional leagues for the Florida League throughout the state. We've got 19 of them. So my goal is to make sure that I touch on all 411 cities, towns, and villages in a year. That's a lot of traveling. My car kind of drives by itself now, but the best part of what I do is get to see the people. And for me to come here and see you today is really super gratifying because you are the first youth council that I've been able to speak to. And I'm really super excited about that. And as I'm going to learn more about your youth council, what it's also told me is I want to go to more of them. So I'm excited to be here today. Have patience with me, since you're the first guinea pigs I have for youth councils. But and just chatting with a few of you, I can see your leadership is showing through. When I came here today, I just want to look around and say how impressed I am to look at you all here. You're serving on a youth council, and you are showing up. You are paying attention for the schools that you represent, for the community that you live in and love, and you're caring about that community. And really, this already makes you the leaders that you are. I wish when I was your age, I had the opportunity to do something like this. I will tell you that when I was young, and that was back in the 60s and 70s, I lived in a very small town in Maine. And at that time, you didn't have women leaders around. It was mostly men. And I'm very proud to say that my mother, in our little small community of Cumberland, Maine, ran and became the first woman selectman for the town of Cumberland, and then went on to become the first chairwoman, who was actually, that's similar to the mayor. So at that time, I was really young. I was probably 6 or 7, and I didn't realize the importance of what that was. But as I have grown into the great age that I am right now, I've understood and I understand the importance of that and the importance of fostering leadership. If anybody had looked at me in high school, where you guys are right now, they would have said, Holly Smith, President of the Florida League of Cities, Holly Smith, Mayor of the City of Sanibel, Holly Smith, National League of Cities. My friends would have said, mm-mm. But it always tells you and shows you what you can do by just following a path that you believe in. And really, for me, it started with volunteering. So I'm here today as the president of the Florida League of Cities to talk to you a little bit about the Florida League of Cities. And I didn't start with this title. I started like you all are doing. I'm caring about my community, I'm asking questions, and I decided to get involved. I raised my hand, I volunteered. Some call it voluntold, and that's when somebody asks you to step up and do that job. And sometimes you think, oh, can I do it? Do I want to do it? Never doubt if you have something in your heart, what you have the ability to do, and take that step, because that step leads to every other step that you don't even know that staircase that you're on, and it's your life journey. So being a part of that life journey really gets you to be the adult to fulfill everything that you really want to fulfill in so many ways. And when I think about all of this, I look around and I know many of you are already on that path at a very young age, thinking about what you want to do for your future. So let's talk about what the Florida League of Cities means to all of you, to me, and to the elected all around the state. We have, like I said, 411 cities, towns, and villages that we represent, and really every town that you're from. We choose to live where we live. You live within the city of Cape Coral. Your parents have made that decision. You go to school here or close by. You use your city roads, your city parks, your city services every single day. When someone calls 911, it's your city police, your fire that make those responses. When you cross the street or sit in a park, that's your city. And when those decisions are made about safety, growth, and quality of life, that's your government. You're a part of that government by sitting up here on the Youth Council. And each one of us, each one of our cities, towns, and villages, just like each one of us, are unique. We have different wants, we have different needs, we have different goals, and so do each of the cities. So let's talk about the responsibility of what that means for the Florida League of Cities. Public safety, infrastructure, parks, budgets, and long-term planning. And that's where the Florida League of Cities comes in and is an umbrella for all of us and for all of you. Whether it's large or small, you're one of the top 10 in the state. I'm one of the smaller. We have, after Hurricane Ian, before Hurricane Ian, we had about 6,700 registered voters in our city. Now we have about 4,700. We're looking for that growth to continue, but as you probably all know, we're still in a recovery. So the state really goes all over. Our Florida League of Cities really represents all over, whether it's inland, coastland, large or small. We consider all of you equal in the state of Florida and how you run your cities. No one has more of an advantage than anyone else because we all share the same issues, no matter big or small. So that's really important that we understand. We think of ourselves as basically a support system for all the municipalities around the state. And we do 4 main things. And I won't go too deep into these. First, we advocate. We speak up for the cities at the Florida legislature and protect local decision-making, the idea that communities deserve a voice in the decisions that affect all of you. I understand that you all were in Tallahassee last week. For those of you that were there, I'm sorry that I was not aware that you were there. As I said, to have people from my own area up there, and I wish I could have had the opportunity to speak to you, but I will let you know that future presidents will have that opportunity that I didn't. So good news is I'll be in DC with you at the national level, so I look forward to being with you at some point during there. So the Florida League of Cities has an amazing amount of lobbyists. There are about 7 of them that work, and we all work on behalf of all the legislation that goes on around the state. Our legislative session is ending our 4th week right now. There were over 1,800 bills that were written, but the league actually looks and focuses on the ones that are going to affect you, are going to affect me and our municipalities. And there are about 500 of those right now. And at the end of this week, we're trying to figure out what's real and what's not, what's going to work, what isn't, and what's moving forward. And so probably at week 5, we're really going to start to get honed in, and that's when we start focusing on the bills that we need impact. Calls to action. You all can do a call to action as well. Not sure if you're aware of what those are, but we're going to make sure that you have those tools in front of you as well, because you are a citizen too, and you know the needs of your municipalities. We have legislative policy committees, so many of your council in Cape Coral are committed to those policy committees, and we make determinations of what the most important factors are that are affecting us. We have one policy decision that we make that we move forward on, and then we have a backup that we want to talk about. And we make sure that whatever decisions that we make and whatever policy that we choose to go forward on, that we are making sure that it covers all of the cities. It's not just proactively supporting one issue that you all in Cape Coral might have or I might on Sanibel. So that's really important for what we do. Because we know what works for one city doesn't work for everybody else, but we want to make sure those policy decisions are looking at what the greatest need is around the state. Second thing we do is we educate, and we educate really well, just like you're getting educated here. We provide training and leadership development to all of our local leaders so they can serve their communities and you better. And there's great certification programs. Again, I know many of your council works on those as well, and they work towards we have EMO, it's a first-time elected official, and it really, as you sat up on this dais, when you were learning to be in the youth council, you had to learn what you were doing. We do too. And we want to make sure that what we're doing is the best that we can do for all of our communities. Third, and one of the things that's always most important, not that the others aren't, is connections, collaboration, communication. Cities learn from each other. We share solutions instead of starting from scratch. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. And so we have such a broad network of the availability to find out from other cities, hey, did you use that and did it work? I can tell you I was mayor after Hurricane Ian. It was one of the most difficult periods in my life. But what I also was able to learn is whatever we did, we could share what worked, because we had a disaster that was one of the top 3 disasters in the United States. And then, of course, following that, we had Debbie, we had Helene, and we had Milton. And we were able to help resource and help other communities have best practices when we had those devastating effects. And just so you know, I'm not only the city of Sanibel, but my business is right here in the city of Cape Coral. We've been a part of the city since 1988 and have one of the hotels right on Cape Coral Parkway, the Holiday Inn Express. So we took in a lot of families, a lot of people when they were displaced at the last moment to make sure that they had safe harbor. And I weathered Milton with all of you. And it was really something. You think about a hurricane, but Cape Coral got hit in a way that we haven't really seen before besides Ian. So there's a lot to be learned together and share that information. Might be hurricanes, it might be infrastructure, it might be your water service, trash service, all of those things is what we do to educate. We also do that at the federal level because we need to talk to our legislators, both our state legislators and our federal legislators. We need to tell them our stories here at home on the bills that they're working on or the policies that they're working on that do work for us and that don't work for us. And if there are policies that don't work for us, we tell our stories so when those bills go forward to the governor, we've done everything that we can to help make that bill better so we can support it. But we always want to remember that we want to make sure that that decision making is right here at home because we are the local leaders here and we know best what our community needs and wants. And I don't say we know best. We know best because your citizens, our citizens, let us know. We don't make the decisions and should not be making those decisions without the understanding of how that affects the people that elected us to do the job. And that's the main thing we have to always focus on. Is this the right thing to do for the citizens? So when I say we, I mean we as a community, not we as one body making all those decisions without thinking of the impacts to the citizens that we serve. The next thing that we do, well, I'm going to go back and I'm just going to talk a little bit, excuse me, about how I got to where I was. As I told you before, I didn't wake up knowing I was going to be president of the Florida League of Cities. I started volunteering. I started getting engaged with the things that were important to me. I was a real estate appraiser, so if you're familiar with what that is, I went around, and a lot of times if someone gets a mortgage, they need a valuation. I did it all over Lee County, Hendry, Collier, Charlotte, and then I kind of zoomed in and focused. I was right here in Cape Coral when I started appraising. So that really gave me a good understanding of zoning, of planning. And that's a critical part of what we do in any municipality is the planning and zoning that we put into place. So that was one job that I had. And then when an opportunity came up for me, we had a planning commission opening. Well, I knew probably more than a lot of people what that meant, so I put my name in for an appointment for Planning Commission, and I was on the Sanibel Planning Commission for 10 years. And then a vacancy came up for council, and that's when I was voluntold. I thought I'd be on Planning Commission forever. I was voluntold to come onto council. I was appointed, and then I had elections to follow, which I was successful in. I've been a councilwoman, I've been a vice mayor, I've been a mayor, and we are not an elected mayor in our town. We typically appoint every year, so I was mayor for 2 years. And I'm vice mayor again, so we do a great rotation because it's important on our council that we realize that we're all leaders up there, so we all want to have the opportunity for that leadership as well. That's just how our charter is set up. A little bit different. We're a lot smaller than Cape Coral or many municipalities that have elected mayors around the state. So let me talk to you about the Florida League of Cities real quick. So it wasn't an easy path. It wasn't all of a sudden somebody said, up, pop, she's going to be the next president of the Florida League of Cities. It's a path. And it is a longer path. From the day after I came on council in 2017, I stepped onto the league and I tried to take advantage of every tool that they had, not for them, not just for me, but for my citizens, to learn how to be that better leader. So like you, I took advantage of any learning opportunity that I could. Then the opportunity came, I ran right before Ian. That selection process was in August of 2022. Ian hit September 28, 2022. I lost my first attempt for second vice president. And isn't it ironic that less than a month later, Hurricane Ian would be at our door, and I was mayor during that time. I think it was an intervention that I didn't even know I needed because my whole focus had to be on the recovery of our island that was so devastated, as you're all aware. So I lost that first time, and losing isn't losing. Trying is winning. So if you run for something, if you do something and you're not successful, just know when you really believe in it, you don't step back, you come back charging again and again. Because if you believe in something, you go back. So I ran again, and I was successful in that. So I was second vice president. It's a 3-year path, first vice president, and now president for that 1 year. So it's been quite a journey for me. This is a really important year. I don't know what you all have been talking about at your youth council, but you might have heard something about taxes. And taxes is one of the primary focuses that we're looking at through the Florida League of Cities, as the governor has indicated that he would like to eliminate taxes. But we're all looking at this saying, it sounds great. No one wants to pay taxes. Your folks don't want to pay taxes. We get it. But how do we run these cities? How do we do it effectively? And how do we replace that revenue and be able to run the cities the way that the citizens need? So this is a big challenge for us, and let me tell you right now, there are no answers. The league is just looking at how we can go forward in this effort to say, what are you planning and how is this going to work for us? But right now, there's nothing solid that anyone's brought forward. So we've still got some time to understand and educate. So the individual that goes into that voter's box, how many of you were able to vote this year in November? Congratulations. Congratulations. It's the most important right that you have as a citizen. And as important to having that right is understanding what you were voting for, and education is a big part of that. So just make sure your advocacy is based on accuracy. And I'll say that again. Advocacy is based on accuracy, because you want to know not just one side, you want to know both sides. So when you understand an issue, you can say, I really believe in this because, and someone's going to come to you and say, well, what about that? And say, I studied that, and now I know why. So you all are going to be doing that. I'm excited for those of you that are going into that voter's booth. Believe it or not, I can remember when I did at 18. And it's really such a fulfilling, when you get that sticker put on, it's like, wow, I participated in the system that we're all here for. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be willing to show up and do the work for the greater good. And I want to talk about the National League of Cities a little bit. And I'm going to skip forward because I know my time is limited and I want to be careful. Municipal decisions are affecting your lives right now. As I said, the youth program, safe streets, parks and recreation, housing, resiliency. We're all hearing a lot about resiliency and what that means, especially in Southwest Florida. We're building back after hurricanes and having these storms. We want to be a more resilient community, zoning and planning. So now let's kind of zoom out a little bit. Florida League of Cities is part of the National League of Cities, and we work collaboratively with them. On the national stage, we work with them on their issues and the policy. And I'm a little bit biased because the Florida League of Cities is by far the largest for the National League of Cities and probably one of the most active. And that's pretty impressive around the country. And let's remember, you're part of that too. So you're the impressive part of that as well. So I kind of look at local, state, and federal. I'm going to do it in kind of a simple term. Middle school, high school, college, right? You can relate to that. We learn certain things in middle school, then we go to a bigger platform when we're in high school, and then we go to college. And that's the biggest platform and one of the most exciting platforms that you guys are going to be able to participate in. And so the National League of Cities is kind of like the big college for all of us. And our municipalities all have a voice there. You all have a voice there as well. I'm excited, like I said, that you're going to be going there. And what we do there is our municipalities get together and we share ideas nationwide and influence the policies that affect our funding, our infrastructure, and our opportunity. And I am frequently in DC for not only local, state, but also federal. You've heard a lot probably talking about FEMA and HUD and all of those things. Well, I've been at the front lines working on those post-disaster. I'm on the board for the National League of Cities, and I'm on the sub-board for President Trump's disaster recovery task force. And that's really exciting because it's not just about hurricanes, it's about fires, it's about flooding, it's about any national disaster. And there's a playbook that we can all use for that. So we're trying to figure out how to best use that playbook. It's really difficult in DC right now, as you all know, but you know what? If you don't stand up, if you don't speak up, then you're not going to help make those changes. So as many no's you get, you just keep coming back to try to get that yes, and that's what I'm committed to do for as long as I'm in service, and I love advocacy. It's my favorite part of what I do. And when we work together, all of our municipalities around the country, then we are even stronger for everything locally. So I want to talk about you a little bit. The Florida League of Cities believes strongly in developing future leaders, and that we now offer scholarship opportunities for the engagement of both civic and community involvement. And I know Cape Coral has participated in some of these before, and I will pass these on to Connie so she can put in the packet for you. We have a Youth Council Excellence Award. I won't go in too deep on this, but I will make sure that you have this in your package. We have a Council to College Scholarship Award as well. So hopefully for those of you that are heading off to college, you are aware of that. If not, you are now. So let's make sure that you have an opportunity to apply for those and be successful. There's opportunity for you to learn how to write your scholarships, to have successful ones. We can show what works and what doesn't work. So this one is called the Public Service Pathway Scholarship. And I'm really excited about this one because under our prior President Michael Blake from COCO, he's a school teacher, a retired school teacher, and making sure there were scholarship opportunities, larger ones, for the students around Florida. This was just initiated last year. We awarded five $5,000 scholarships. We had 68 applicants. What's unique about this one is you have to have been in college for a full semester so you can show your grades. So I just wanted to put this on your radar for those of you rising seniors, if you are going off to college, if you're going to be in a trade school, whatever your needs are, I encourage you to apply. I want to see some Southwest Floridians be able to get as much benefit as they can because we have a great representation around this state, and let's just make sure we get a little piece of the pie. I just want to thank you for stepping up and serving on this council. I am extremely proud of each one of you. I look forward to kind of sitting through this meeting and listening. I do want to make sure I get a photo opportunity with you so we can get that out to all 411 municipalities so I can say you all were the first. So I thank you again for being here. If you have any questions, I'm happy to entertain them. I just want to end with this. Leadership isn't about age. It's about engagement, curiosity, and courage. Cities where democracy is the most personal. And I'm really excited for you all to have the opportunity to be a part of this stage, and I want to encourage you to make sure that you continue to follow that path. I'll make sure that you have my card, that you have my telephone number, and I am happy to sit down with any of you individually to talk about, your next steps. If there's anything that I can do to help, because the more we can do to help the generations to come, the better leadership that we are going to have for generations to come. So with that, I would open the floor to any questions that you might have.
Does anyone have any questions? So obviously you worked a lot right after Ian, and I guess my overall question as like one leader to another, how do you find hope in times of distress, and like when you're trying to represent a community that's lost so much, how you are able to push them through that?
I think it's all about your attitude. I think it's about your authenticity. I've been there. One of the hardest nights of my life was September 27th, 2022. The city of Sanibel had to evacuate. We were over at the bell tower. That's where our city operations were. We knew this big storm was coming, and we begged our citizens to get off the island. About 1,200 remained. When I woke up, I never went to sleep. Let me say, I didn't even go to sleep. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I remember a woman coming up to me at the bell tower and showing me this piece of paper where our bridge was severed. So we had no connection to our island. We had no connection to the citizens that were there. We didn't know how many were there, right? And I said I couldn't verify that happened. So when I look at that, in the hardest times, you stand up and you lead. When you're upset, you're allowed to show your emotions, but when you are sitting here in a leadership position, people need to see that strength of leadership. They need to have confidence in you so they have confidence in what has just impacted them. And the most important thing that we did, hurricane hit on a Wednesday. We did search and recovery on a Thursday. Friday morning was the first time I was able to go to the island. And when asked to go to the island, it wasn't about me as mayor going to the island. It was about all of council going to the island. We all needed to come back. We all needed to tell that story. But then what we did on Friday, we started Facebook Lives, and we had Facebook Lives every single day to tell our citizens, to tell the people around the world what was going on. So in the hardest times, you stand up and lead. Look, we live in a difficult time right now, but I can tell you what I believe in is I want to talk with you. I don't want to talk at you. I don't want to talk about you. Because when we sit down at a table and we talk together, then we're going to have solutions and we're going to find how to get things done because we see each other as humans, right? Not just a name, not a location, not a Republican, Democrat, independent. And I think that we've got to crash that barrier and get back to communication. And I think we've got a long road ahead of us. But you know where that road starts? One conversation at a time.
Absolutely.
So I hope I answered your question.
Yes.
On that. I always make sure if anyone wants to have a conversation with me, even if I agree to disagree, I will always have that, and I want to do it respectfully. I'm embarrassed by what I see happening on how people are talking to each other. It only hurts us even more. It
Exactly.
separates us even more. And I'm a Sanibelian, I'm a Southwest Floridian, I'm a Floridian, and I'm an American. And I want to make sure that whatever we're doing, that we're looking at all of those things and making sure we live in the best country in the world. We need to act like it. Any other questions? Oh, I thought I'd have a bunch.
Chair Sorzak, it's Councilwoman Lastra.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
First, Holly, I just want to thank you, Vice Mayor Smith, for coming and speaking. I asked her to come, given that most of us will be in DC next month for the National League of Cities. And I thought it was really important for Vice Mayor Smith to talk about her presidency for the Florida League of Cities and kind of tie it into how it helps those of us municipalities. From a personal standpoint, Holly has been a motivator to me. She has been a role model to me, and she has been a mentor to me. And I think she will be to those of you that embrace her, because she's one of those people that mean what she says and does what she means. So I encourage any of you who want to reach out to her and meet with her and talk with her about what you're looking at, in college, what you want to do in the future, because she'll be a great resource for you. I just wanted to say thank you to Holly for coming. It really means a lot. These girls, these young women are our future, and I think it's important that they hear from you as you grew up, like many of us, from very simple beginnings, and to have accomplished as much as you have accomplished is truly an inspiration. And just so the Youth Council knows, I've invited Vice Mayor Smith to join us for a dinner when we are up at the National League of Cities, so that you can have an opportunity to be a little bit more one-on-one with her. But when she says she will meet with you, she absolutely will. I've told y'all before, I was a little nervous being the liaison for council with a bunch of teenagers, because you know me and teenagers. But I'm super grateful for this opportunity, because it allows me to introduce community leaders like Holly, who really do walk the walk and talk the talk. So I just wanted to say thank you. And when we are up in DC, we will engage her. We will have her come. We will have her meet with us. We will have her at dinner, so that you have an opportunity to meet her one-on-one. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yes,
you,
you're welcome.
Councilman.
And I know Jen quite well. I have watched her path as she has become a leader of this community, and a very balanced leader. I know that she will reach out to me on so many issues and say, what do you think, or what's happening here, to just try to educate herself. And you're really lucky to have a liaison, a council liaison, that is set forward to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to lead this group, and she will do, just as she said, I try to do all the time, is make sure she helps you be the best that you can be, and for the future councils that are going to be coming forward. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. Any closing questions? I know you got a pretty big agenda.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and I look forward to meeting all of you individually, okay?
Yes.
Love you, Vice Mayor Smith. You are a BADASS.
Chair, really quick, not only the pathway to become president of FLC is a difficult one, you have to be respected and earn it from your peers, but Holly's also won the E. Harris True Lifetime Achievement Award, which is the highest honor you can received from FLC, as well as Home Rule Hero. I think one of the biggest commitments FLC makes is to protect home rule of their cities so that the state doesn't come in and try and govern in places where they shouldn't be governing. So, you know, she's accomplished a lot. I had a chance to work with her when I was on council and through FLC as well. I'd like to think that now she's started at the top. There is no better youth council in the state than this one. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the time with the other youth councils. So thank you again, Holly.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mrs. Kirkland, should we take our picture now? Okay. So as you all saw, Councilwoman Esalasha is joining us remotely for the rest of this meeting. We will now move on to item 5, changes to the agenda / adoption of the agenda. I will make one recommendation, and that is to move guest speaker A, Zoe Malka, to after business item M. So do I have a motion to do that? Member Halsey.
I motion to move that.
Is there a second? Member Paragonda.
I second.
Member Halsey made the motion, Member Paragonda seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. We will now move on to item 6, review of meeting notes. Are there any changes to the meeting notes? Do I have a motion to adopt the meeting notes as presented? Vice Chair Brown.
I motion to adopt the meeting notes.
Is there a second? Member Zapata Vasquez.
I second that.
Vice Chair Brown made the motion and Member Zapata Vasquez seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 7 is recognition / achievements. Currently, we have no recognitions. Item 8 is advisor presentations. I will now turn the floor over to Advisor Hayden.
All right, I'll go really fast with this. Highlights from council: they just had their first budget workshop of the year, which will help guide city staff for the 26-27 budget. They face some obstacles. They have a $15 million deficit. They have to figure out a way to make that up, and that could come from raising the millage. It could come from changing the public service tax or the fire service or the fire service assessment. So, and there's big projects coming with the expansion of the EOC building, with the old golf course, with the yacht club. So they'll have some tough decisions to make as the year goes on. The police chief recently asked for 24 new officers, which public safety will always remain a top priority for this city council. So there's tough financial decisions that have to be made moving forward. And then as I was researching council, I came across this little news item. Oasis student captures Lee County High School Student of the Week honors.
Yes.
I said, oh, I wonder who that could be. So I'll just read you a little bit. Congratulations to Emily Feichthaler of Oasis High School, who's the Lee County High School Student of the Week for February 2nd through the 5th. And I went on to talk to her about her being a leader in academics and all her volunteer achievements and being a part of the youth council. So, Emily, congrats. It's a big deal. I think there were several students that were nominated for this, and she came out on top. So good job.
Congrats, Member Feichthaler.
All right, I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Hayden. We will now move on to item 9, citizens input. This consists of input of citizens on matters concerning city government, 3 minutes per individual. The council will listen to all speakers and respond after all speakers have made their presentations. I will now read the Pledge of Civility. We will be respectful of each other even when we disagree. We will direct all comments to the issues. We will avoid personal attacks. Citizens input is now open. Any members of the public wishing to speak, please use the podium to your right, facing the dais, and state your name for the record.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm honored to be here among the fine young people here that are going to be our leaders in the future. And Holly, you really spoke from the heart. Thank you very much. I got a lot out of it. And I wanted to just comment on a couple of things she said. It's great to have advocacy, but you need to have accuracy. I never heard it put that way. That means a lot. And you've all got goals in your life. Don't let the goals be what you chase after. Make it be the journey that you chase after, because the journey is going to make you a better person. I hope you don't ever stop learning. I'm in my 70s and I'm still taking courses. So don't ever stop learning, because we need young people like you to take care of us as we age. And let's go back to talk about Holly. When I was in elementary school, there were no chain fences. There were no walkthroughs where you couldn't get into the school. Our society globally has just got a real issue. But thank you for your time. But what we like to share with you is that I represent the Cape Coral Rotary Clubs. And because we are able to have our art festival every year on Cape Coral Parkway, I wanted to thank the city, because without them, we don't make the kind of money that we could make and give it away. We gave a lot of money away after COVID, when the high school seniors couldn't have their prom, couldn't have their graduation. We gave a lot of money away after Ian, when so many people were devastated. And I just want to share a comment about the mayor at the time. He was a member of our Rotary Club. Doesn't come because conflict of timing. But after Ian, we were cleaning out a house down in Southeast Cape because it was destroyed. And I was working side by side with him and his wife. So that's the kind of people we have leading our city. And I really like the question that you posed. How do you find hope in distress? Yeah. You got to be a leader. Lead yourself. That being said, you're all talking about the League of Cities National Conference, and we would like to present your council with a check for $4,000 to help you pay for it.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
But we do require one thing,
Yes.
a photo op.
Of course we can have a photo.
Oh,
Yes. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna Germain. I'm the President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce of Cape Coral. On behalf of our Board of Directors, we'd also like to present you with a check for $1,800 to sponsor a member of the Youth Council to attend the DC trip. As somebody who was born and raised here, I look at all of you and I'm just so proud to see the next generation and what you guys are doing to make our city a better place. I know some of you have been through our junior leadership program, and I know you guys got to learn a lot in that program, and we're just so thankful that we have a wonderful group of students who are engaged. Thank you all, and I hope you all enjoy your trip.
Thank you so much for the donation.
Good afternoon. Just to follow up with what Council Member Lasher was saying, you have a wealth of knowledge right here, so please, when you're up in DC, take Vice Mayor Smith up on her offer and talk with her. I had the privilege of her being my board president for a year at the Horizon Foundation, and just the wealth of knowledge that I learned over that year was amazing. So, exactly. I am so proud of all of you that you are our future leaders of this city, and make sure you come back. That's the most important thing. Go away to school, have fun, but we need leaders like yourselves in our city. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Donna and Billy, thank you for speaking. Donna, we are so grateful for the chamber and all you do to help guide these young leaders. Billy, you know I love you. Thank you.
welcome. Thank you, guys. Very nice to listen to you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Hi. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Come on now. We're in good hands,
Absolutely.
huh? Yeah, love it.
Why? Yeah, my computer was off and it's scared me. Let's charge it. There it is. Okay. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, citizens' input is now closed. We'll now move on to item 10, quarterly report. Our next quarterly report will be in April, and this one will be very key as it is our chance to show the council all of our complete projects and discuss the success we had this term, as well as share any data we collected. So as always, I would like attendance to be very high. At the last meeting, Member Paragonda and Member Jax were assigned to work on a rough draft of our April quarterly report, and you can find a copy of it in your backup material. Please note that there still needs to be information added in certain areas, as certain projects cannot be fully completed, and there are also some edits that we have already spotted, and in your backup material you see the list of the pending edits. But at this time, would these two members please go over what we have so far?
Okay, so I'll go first. Excuse my voice, I'm just getting over a little bit of sickness, so I sound a little bit rough. But Member Jackson and I, we worked on it. This is like a super rough draft. Obviously, there'll be a lot of pictures added. Obviously, you can see there's spots where there's gonna be more information. I got an email from Ms. Grigg and I just saw it. So I made note of those changes. We will make those changes, but obviously, please let us know if there's anything else. We'll be keeping in touch with Member Johnson, with Member Sanchez, updating all the stuff with the senior project, the junior project, the reach out program, especially after the next one, which is this coming week. I will make sure to add pictures for the action days, for the congressional conference, all those different things. The adopter road will have, attendance information once we get all of those done. Hopefully the Lovelock statue will get done before we leave so that we can also put that in. And then, yeah, other than that, that's kind of like the status of the report.
Perfect. And then, yeah, as Member Paragon said, and I said earlier, and the very last sheet of your to-do list is the edits that still need to be made. But since we still have the March meeting, we'll wait to approve this presentation until then. So I would just say keep working on it, add the improvements Ms. Griglin already mentioned, and then additional ones. Just like, for example, like the junior project, it says 3 food trucks, like just name them specifically, things like that. But is there any major things? Yes, Member Johnson?
Under this senior project where it says it was sent to 6 local high schools, just make sure to add an Ida Baker. Thank you.
Yes. Perfect. Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, thank you. So then just make sure by next backup material, those edits have been made. And then we'll approve at the next meeting. We will now move on to item 11, business. Item 11A, junior project. As we all know, we're hosting a major Movie in the Park event next Friday, the February 13th. This event will be one of the largest we have ever hosted as a council, so we need to make sure we are all working as hard as we can to get it done. In the last few weeks, we have had some minimal tickets sold, but that meeting said we need to make sure we are posting every day, reaching out to friends and family, and constantly reminding them to buy tickets. For example, I recommend going through your contact list and reaching out to as many people as possible. For example, just yesterday, I sent over 70 text messages to people that I have some sort of relation to. We have so many people outside of our council working on this event, and we do not want to let them down. Remember, if each member just gets 10 people to each buy a ticket, then we'll have a minimum of 150 people there. So we want to make sure everyone is doing their part. I also recommend, if you have not done already, printing out flyers around your school so that people have something physical to look over. And then if you are going to be sending out text messages, I would include the flyer in there as well. That's what I was trying to do yesterday. In your backup material, you'll also see a list of all the jobs each member has for the event. These could be switched around depending on what we need the day of, but just be prepared that when we're going in the day of, that is what you are going to be doing. And yes, and then now at this time, I'll turn the floor over to Member Sanchez to review the plans for the movie and anything else expected of us.
Thank you. So
as you can see in the backup material, there's like a rough like outline of everything that's going to be happening at the movie night and what everyone needs to know. And again, as Chair Skorzak has said, we are very low on ticket sales right now online. Yes, we might get some in person, but it's very important that we get as much as possible online so we can have a secure amount and have an idea of how many people are going to be there ahead of time. And so something that I've been doing as well is not only texting people, but I've been talking to people in person, kind of approaching people that like I've known throughout the years. And I've just kind of told them like, hey, there's a movie night. And I know all of us have a lot of clubs we are part of, and we are very involved in our schools. So another thing that I've been kind of implementing is that I have been reaching out to all the clubs that I'm like an officer in, and just like teachers that run clubs, and telling them, could you please give like community service hours? Like they would sign off on it and like give it to members of the club for joining and for sending a screenshot of their ticket purchased online, so that it could like entice people to come as well. So I would recommend that to anyone who's having troubles selling tickets to their friends and people that go to their school. And then I'd also like to pass like the speech to Megan, because she has an update about the food vendors at the place.
It is unfortunate news, but for our one vendor, Pilar's Empanadas, they simply have not been reciprocating, like communicating with me at all. And I've at least tried to call them at least twice a week, no response. The last response I got was 3 weeks ago, when they said that they would get they would respond to my emails that I've sent, and I've sent them new email, like not chains, but like a more summarized version of where they need to be, updates on like, oh, send me your menu, send me your logo. They still have not done that. I've had to find that myself. But honestly, if they come on our date, that's their thing. But like, I'm giving them all the information, even the current information, like our updated stuff now. But I don't think we should like hang on them. Like, our 3 vendors are fine for now, especially with the way things are going. But hopefully we can get more people, which is the expectation. But as of now, I have no communication. I have no idea where we're at with Pilar's Empanadas. So if we give up on that, that's just reality.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know. I mean, we have our designated area for food trucks on the map, so we'll try to make space for them, but if they don't show up, we don't, right? I mean, there's nothing else we can do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there'll be space for them.
Yeah.
So hopefully within this last week, maybe we can get some kind of communication. Do you know, do they have an on-site location that we can actually walk into? Okay. Off the record, just send that to me in an email, and I will see if I could try to get there sometime this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Jax. And then, yeah, so as Ms. Administrative Economist Graham put, we currently have 16 tickets sold, and obviously we want that number to be a lot higher. If a lot of you, I know a lot of us told our friends about it weeks ago, so just make sure in the next couple of days, it is the most crucial time that we're sending updates, we're telling them to share with their friends, and then obviously this project was made for, our intention was for teens, but so many other people can come. My mom's coming, I'm trying to get other relatives to come and things like that, and so if they're free, and then, yeah. So especially, like, for example, we have like 4 or 5 Oasis kids on this council, so it's a lot. I know a lot of Oasis already knows just because of how many people, but if you go to a school where there's only 1 member on this council, make sure, I know you guys are all working hard, I sent you guys all a text message to see how we're doing, but just make sure you keep pushing as we want this event to be successful. And Member Sanchez, do you want to talk about the QR code? And
Yeah. So I created a QR code it's in our to-do list to do, is just to do the same thing we did with the information night that we had like at the pizza place, where we are gonna have them on like a little like clear stand so we can get people to scan them at like after the movie, and also like the next day at school or like on Monday. We can also like come up to friends and stuff and be like, oh, like you went to the movie, is it okay if you like take a little survey, so we can have some information on what their opinion was and what they'd like to see in the future from the Youth Council for entertainment around Cape Coral.
And then the edits that it's the survey, just so everyone, the one we approved of last meeting, correct?
Yeah, I made all the edits on the survey and it's all completed, and that's the QR code for the edited survey.
Perfect, thank you. And then I have a question for Mrs. Greenglade. So we picked Clueless, obviously. The people that donating to us the screen and the projector, they have that all prepared, right? So that's not something we have to worry about.
Correct. So when we get to the venue that night, which is obviously just by Cultural Park, our special events people will already be there.
Okay, perfect.
It's their part of their job duties to set up the screen and have the projector working and make sure the electric is all good. Our main thing is obviously, once again, we just need to form whatever line we can for the people that are coming. We need to constantly keep monitoring, which we'll have a microphone there, that they make sure that they have wristbands, and if not, then we'll just have to send them to the front to get the wristbands. And then at the end of, then the only other thing at the end of the night is obviously any, and I repeat, any and all garbage must be put in bags, and then we will have some kind of a pickup truck that we have to deliver all those garbage bags from that particular area over to City Hall. So there will be a little bit of setup, but there'll be more cleanup. We're not assigning people. I'm expecting that if you're there to set up and help clean up.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? And I also I already have 100 flyers printed. So I would suggest you come. If you need some flyers, take some from me. And I would suggest the rest of the flyers, we'll talk about it a little later. You guys can hand them out at the Mariner when you guys do the presentation on the 11th. Okay?
Thank you so much. Yes, Mrs. Greenland pretty much covered that perfectly. And then, are there any questions going into this? Anyone have any more comments about our movie in the park? Member Paraganda? Oh, yes.
I'll see what I can do, but I told Chair Skorzak that I had an afternoon announcements. They've been announcing it, and they're gonna announce it into the next week. And what I'll try to do, so for our National Honor Society, we have to do points. So I can try to talk to the teacher who's in charge of that and see if she can make attendance to the movie like an in or an out, and then that way people can get their points, and then all they have to do is go watch a movie, and then I should be able to get quite a few people because we're always very desperate for points. So I will work on that, and hopefully we can get that done so we can get more ticket sales.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I'm president of my English honor side of our school, and we kind of made it so if you come to the movie in the park, you'll be excused from the next meeting. So things like that, if you guys are officers or know people who are officers, trying to get them involved as well. And then also be very understanding. Like, I know a lot of people text me, they're very interested, but they have work or they're out of town. Our job is to just make sure we're spreading as much information as possible. So thank you so much. I know you guys are all working hard, and I appreciate it, but this is crunch time. And then Councilwoman Lastra, do you have any more comments about the movie in the park? If you're still with us.
I'm sorry, Chair Swarzak, can you say what you just said at the very end, comments about?
I'm just saying, do you have any more comments or have any questions for us going into next week?
No, we're good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Any final discussion? Okay, we will move on to item 11B, Senior Project. At the last meeting, we were informed that we had over 200 responses to our mental health survey from Oasis. Member Johnson then informed us that she is working very hard with the school board to get our survey approved for the public schools. At this time, I'll now turn the floor over to her so that she can inform us on any updates she may have.
I don't have many updates today. The Lee County School Board, they met on the 29th, I believe, so I'm still waiting to hear back from her. I did send a follow-up email this weekend, and I'm guessing she's just getting all the information squared away for me. And then with the Charter School Board, I'm still getting in contact with the superintendent, and then this week on Sunday, some of us seniors are meeting to make the presentation for that. So everything is pretty much moving smoothly with Oasis, and then now we're just waiting to hear back if we can do it with the following Lee County schools, and then I'm hoping at the next meeting I'll have some more information for everybody.
Okay, perfect. And then just, I want to, Member Johnson said, the seniors, you should have received a message in your group chat. Some of us are meeting this Sunday to work on the presentation for the joint council meeting and going through the data from Oasis. So if you are able to make it, please come so that we are making sure everyone's participating and that it's not just Member Johnson's job to focus on this project. Does that sound good with everyone? Okay.
Claire, was the Lee County School Board voting on this, or are you still waiting to hear back from Dr. Tim?
What she told me when I initially contacted her, I filled out all the paperwork and she had to present it at their next committee meeting, and that was on the 29th.
Committee
So
meeting was on the 29th,
I'm
okay.
guessing that I did send her a follow-up email this past weekend asking
Okay.
her for any updates, so I'm just waiting to hear back from her from that.
Okay,
So I'm hoping to hear in the next week, and when I find out, I can send her an email to everybody what
Yeah,
she
yeah.
says.
okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Member Johnson. Okay, do we have any discussion about that? Okay, we'll move on to item 11C, School Reach Out Project Debrief. In the months of December and January, we visited Cape Coral High School to give our school reach out presentation to them. Based on the attendance from both events, we had over 70 plus students come to see our presentation. The students seemed to be very engaged, and we were able to collect several more responses for our survey, while also informing them about our movie in the park. Next week, on February 11th at 2:15, we are going to be visiting our final Cape Coral High School, Mariner. We're so excited to give our presentation to this final group, and I hope to see as many people as we can. So at this time, please raise your hand if you will be able to make this event. Vice Chair, myself, and Member Jax. February 11th. It is next Wednesday at 2:15. And then, Member Jax, I have a question. How is the parking situation?
So the student parking is pretty big, and it's
Okay.
gonna be after school, so people will be leaving. At 2:15 though, majority should have already left.
Okay, perfect.
And the key thing is security. So if we say we have staff coming there, where do they need to go? How do they arrive? Who do they ask for?
In the front, by the
In the front? Okay.
But I will talk to the people in the front office.
Correct. If you could please let the people in the front office know that we are going to have, members of, our staff come. And if he or she needs something beforehand, you just gotta let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna assume that whoever's coming, I'll let them know, to be in the front office hopefully by 2, because I believe it starts at 2:30, 2:15, right?
After 2 p.m., they get really strict about who comes and goes.
Okay, so they should really be there by 2. Okay.
Member Jax, do we have a half day on that day? No. Okay. Only Oasis does? Okay, perfect. That's easier for us. Never mind then. Okay, and just for the record, we actually received 41 responses from Cape Coral High School for our survey, which was very, very nice. So that increased our total survey amount by a lot. So I'm very happy about that. And then I'm hoping once Mariner, I'm not sure the final count how many we have, but hopefully we'll get a decent amount from there as well. So at this time, is there any further discussion? Okay, we'll move on to item 11D, Lovelocks discussion and updates. At the last meeting, we were informed by Mrs. Griglin that our Lovelocks project is sitting in the public works queue. And once they have finished pouring the concrete slab, they will reach out to Mr. Colburn. At this time, I will now turn the floor over to Administrative Contact Mrs. Griglin to explain the updates on this project.
Thank you, Chair. Unfortunately, at this time, I don't have any additional updates. Like I said, it is in the Public Works queue. If and when they are able to get to it or, give me any updates, I will certainly share it. I can let you know that it's in a queue and it's in the process of it's just a matter of what jobs they have beforehand. So I have told them our intention of hopefully having it done, but you also have to remember by the time they pour the concrete slab, Mr. Colburn had asked for at least 3 to 4 months. So I'm trying my hardest. Hopefully it'll get done maybe before you guys go to college. I don't want to make any promises, but as soon as I have any updates, and we can also, we know that you're back from spring break or winter break, we could certainly have another gathering there, just to do more pictures, but, at this point, I'm just sitting in the queue.
Oh, we completely understand. Thank you so much, though. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Is there any questions? Okay, we will move on to item 11E, NLC Congressional City Conference. As we know, this year we have been fundraising for the opportunity to take our council to the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference in Washington, D.C. This conference will be held from March 13th to Tuesday, March 17th. Mrs. Gergland has secured for us a tour of the Capitol building and the White House, and we will also be having the unique opportunity by having dinner with Congressman Byron Donalds. Mr. Hayden has also confirmed that we have tickets to the National Archives. In your backup material, you will see a more detailed itinerary along with hotel information, so please look over that now if you haven't already. Also, make sure you are bringing comfortable roof shoes, as there will be a lot of walking, and thicker clothing as it will be more cold up north. So yes, we are able to secure a lot of fun activities and just a lot of fun information that we're going to be having. And then obviously we're going to be seeing Vice Mayor Holly Smith there now, so I'm very excited. And yeah, does anyone have any questions or any additional information from the advisors?
Nope, you've stated it all.
Councilwoman, do you have any questions or any updates that we may have? Should I say it again? Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Just so you all know, we have our dinner set for Friday and Saturday. Sunday, you guys will be at the conference. And then on Monday, myself and our special assistant to the city manager, Maureen Bice, are working on our dinner with our lobbyists. So that location will TBD. We will be eating at the Old Ebbitt Grill Friday night on the 13th. And then on Saturday, after all of our touring, I'm gonna order pizza just to be delivered to the hotels so we can all share it in the lobby. And then Sunday, you'll be at the conference and you'll eat dinner. And then Monday, we'll have dinner wherever. But we're really excited. Our lobbyist is excited to meet you. And I am working on that meeting with Congressman Donalds to see if we can somehow meet him before we leave.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, any final discussion? Okay, moving on to item 11F, FLC Youth Council Legislative Action Days debrief. Hold on. I'm so sorry, I'm still recovering a cold as well. Okay. So from January 26th to January 28th, our youth council attended the FLC Youth Council Legislative Action Days in Tallahassee. On this trip, along with attending the FLC conference, we also received a private tour of the Florida House of Representatives and got to see one of our representatives, Mike Giolombardo. On this trip, we also had the chance to interact with several youth councils, and it was an overall great experience. At this time, if anyone that went on the trip would like to share their experience, please do so now. Vice Chair Brown.
I just want to say I'm incredibly grateful I got to go on this trip because it's not very often that you get the opportunity to go up to Tallahassee and see the Capitol and go into the House of Representatives, which is always so cool. And I learned a lot. We got walked through like each painting that's on the walls, and we got to see the history and its connections to the room and how it interacts and how it's still relevant. And I just think that that's such a cool thing because they were made so long ago, and to still have relevancy and an impact is just, it's really cool to see. And of course, to meet Representative Giolombardo was amazing, but also getting to communicate and build relationships with other youth councils in Florida. I thought that was super cool, seeing how they run their organizations and how the impacts they've made, the differences in our issues in our communities. It was just super cool to finally be able to kind of connect with other people and understand how things work outside of our Cape Coral, our city, and it was just super cool, and I'm really grateful that I got to go. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? Members of Public Vasquez?
It was truly an amazing experience. I was especially excited to visit Tallahassee for the first time, seeing the Capitol in person, learning about its history, and the roles in Florida's government was incredible. Throughout the trip, I grew closer with my fellow council members and also had the chance to meet students from different youth councils across Florida, and all with diverse perspectives and backgrounds. And when we worked alongside Miami Beach Youth Council and had a shared presentation and showed me how to collaborate with different local concerns into like meaningful collective solutions, and also spending time with Port St. Lucie Youth Council and just learning about their city and experience helped me broaden my understanding of how communities across Florida face both unique and shared challenges. This trip honestly has taught me how to listen openly, learn from others, and view issues beyond my perspective, and just excuse me, it's reinforced the idea that even if we disagree on topics or policies, respect and understanding should always come first. Ultimately, this experience has really inspired me to stay engaged and remain open-minded and continue using my voice in that way, contributing to my community and beyond.
Yes, thank you so much. I think that was really well said. I had a great time. I got to visit Tallahassee last year on the same conference, and it was really fun, but I think this specific conference, we got a lot closer. Like some members of Bada Vasquez said, we got really close with the group of Miami Beach, and it was really interesting because we had to work on a problem about issues our community, and Miami Beach has very different issues than Cape Coral does, but we were still able to work together and kind of find solutions that help us both, and I thought that was really fun. And then obviously it's so nice to get closer with the people on your council, so it's overall a really great opportunity. And then if you are a junior member, I would definitely recommend coming next year if you didn't get a chance this time. And thank you to Mrs. Gerlin for advising, being our advisor during that trip. It means a lot. So any other discussion? Okay. We'll now move on to item 11I, Youth Council 2026 application discussion. Our application for the Youth Council will be opening February 23rd and stay open until March 23rd. As always, we want to make as many people to apply to the council as possible, so please make sure you're reaching out to your friends and family. Also, please remind them that applications have to be handed in person, and if there is a reason that they cannot fully submit the application in person, to please reach out to Mrs. Griglin or one of us to see if accommodations can be made.
Chair, I'm so
Yes.
sorry, you missed 2 items.
Hello? I'm so sorry.
You just talked about legislative action.
Oh, I slipped through the wrong page. Oh my goodness. It felt weird. Yeah. Sorry, I slipped through the wrong page. Okay. Actually, item 11G, Adopt a Road discussion. Our last Adopt a Road was Saturday, January 10th. This cleaning was very successful and we were able to pick up multiple bags full of trash. Our next and final Adopt a Road will be in March. However, it is currently scheduled for March 13th, and a majority of the council will be away in DC. So at this time, we must now decide a date for the last Adopt a Road of the term. Please take out your calendars so we can discuss. So yes, we can either do this probably the week before March 13th or after spring break when a lot of us come back.
And Chair, I'm also gonna just suggest we could move it into April if
Yes.
need be. So that is another option. I know March is extremely busy. So that's just a thought that we could put it out to
Yeah, of
April
course.
as well.
My Saturdays are pretty much open for a lot of the time, so I don't really have any preferences, but like Mrs. Greenland said, we could do, well, April 4th is that not Easter that weekend, maybe? Yeah, April 4th would be Easter weekend, so potentially, and our last meeting of the term, I believe, is April 10th. So we could do it April 11th, or we could do March 28th, March 7th, if anyone has any specific suggestions. Member Paragon?
I think we should just do March 7th if everybody can do that.
That works with me. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes,
You
Member
said
Patrice.
that April 28th was one of the options?
No, I said March 28th.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay. So, do I have a motion to make March 7th the date for our next Adopt a Road? Member Paragonda.
I move to make March 7th the date of our next Adopt a Road.
Is there a second? Member Bice?
I second this.
Member Paragonda made the motion. Member Bice seconded it. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Perfect. Okay, we will now move on to item 11H, FLC Youth Council Excellence Awards. For the last few years, our council submitted a project for consideration for the Youth Council Excellence Awards. At the last meeting, we decided to motion to approve the essay Member Johnson and Member Halsey wrote, as well as approve the letter of recommendation Councilwoman Nelson Lasher wrote. In your back material, you'll see a copy of both documents that we will be submitting, and we will hopefully hear back from FLC in the coming months to see if we won. At this time, are there any questions? Yeah, I mean, obviously I think the essay was very well written, and so was the letter of recommendation. That's why we went and approved it, but if anyone has any comments. Okay. No, is there any further discussion? Okay, we will move on. And then, wait, actually, Ms. Scringland, I have a question.
Sure.
Although we won't know the results in a couple of months, should this still be an agenda item for the next meeting, or?
At this time, we really don't. FLC, I mean, obviously the deadline to send it in is March 4th, so it'll be in before that. And then the winners aren't expected till April. So obviously, if I have it before our last meeting in April, of course I will absolutely share. If not, I can certainly let you guys know, your phone by text for the seniors who have left if we've won or not, and if you want to come back and talk about it at a meeting before you guys go to college.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mrs. Grigland.
Sure.
So now we will move on to item 11I, Youth Council 2026 application discussion. Our application for the Youth Council will be opening February 23rd and stay open until March 23rd. As always, we want as many people to apply to council, and we want to make sure we're reaching out to as many friends and family as possible. Also, please remind them that applications have to be handed in person, and if there is any reason they cannot fully submit the application in person, to please reach out to Mrs. Grigland or one of us to see if we can make accommodations. At the last meeting, we also reviewed a flyer to help promote our application made by our communications director, Amy Liao. We suggested a couple of edits, and in your backup material, you'll see a copy of the edited version. At this time, please look over the flyer again to see if there are any final changes that should be made before we start posting it to our social media in the coming weeks. I personally think I think the original design was very nice, but I like that it definitely has our logo and the more Youth Council colors. And then we also have a second flyer after that as well that we can use to promote. So if anyone sees any changes to be made, please let me know, or else I would like to make a motion to approve these flyers. And then, similarly, like we have been advertising for our movie in the park, to let people know at their meetings, let people know, if you know any upcoming sophomores, juniors that are really passionate and they might not know about this, I would really recommend reaching out, because like most of us on this council, we only heard because of our older peers. So we want to make sure that we're making a difference, especially if you come from a school that doesn't have much representation. In general, it's really important. So, do the Drubo flyers look good? Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt both of these flyers as the ones we use to promote our 2026 Youth Council application? Member Feichthaler.
Motion to adopt these flyers.
Is there a second? Member Jax?
I second this motion.
Member Feichthaler made the motion. Member Jax seconded it. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, perfect. I'm looking forward to see many, many applications. We will now move on to item 11J, Youth Council 2026 Awards Program. As a reminder, each year we as a council also hold our own awards program where we recognize other youth in our community for their good works. This program just opened on February 3rd and will be open to March 3rd. Each applicant fills out an application for one of the 5 categories they excelled in. The categories include leadership, arts, civic engagement, excellence in academics, and athletics. We then go through each application and decide who wins this award. Once they are selected, they come to one of our meetings and are recognized with a physical award. Now that this program is officially open, please promote it as much as possible to friends and family so that they can potentially win and be recognized by the council. We want to recognize our youth as much as possible, so please go out and share this information. Obviously I was on council last term, but I feel like we definitely could have promoted it maybe a little bit more, because we only, I think, had 3 or 4 applications last year. And especially if there's 5 awards, having just at least one person per award would be obviously a minimum. So we want to recognize as many people as possible, and there's obviously, they could be freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, there's no age limit. And obviously it's a good way for them to be recognized for a lot of their good works they do. So I would try reaching out to your friends as much as possible. And then at the last meeting, we also reviewed another flyer that our communication director, Ambrielle, made. And she also, once again, added more of our youth council colors to the flyers. So if we could take a look at that. Well, it's already been sent out, but if just make sure that we all think it looks pretty good, and then that you know this is the one we are going to be sending out. And then in your backup material, you'll see a copy of the application again. So there is a link on our social media and our website, but just in case you know someone personal, if they can't access that, you have a copy of it as well. Does anyone have any discussion on this? Okay. Ms. Fragley?
Thank you, Chair. So I do want to announce, I actually reached out to Mr. Sam Fisher, who, if you're not aware who he is, he's the Lee County School District, one of the board members. And I also reached out to a Mr. Charles Velarde. He's our regional superintendent. And they have already sent out to all of the principals the application and everything. So I'm hoping that you guys are starting to see it however they distribute it among the schools. Obviously, it's already on the city's main page, so that is circulating. Ambrielle, I know, is trying to get it out as well. But once again, you know, the key thing is word of mouth. You know, you guys are in the schools, we're not. We can send it to people, but we don't know if it actually gets distributed among themselves. And just obviously something to keep in mind. So the deadline is March 3rd. Obviously, at our April 10th is where we announce the winners and present them with their awards. So with that being said, we also have to have time for you guys to review the applications and choose the candidates. So what I'm announcing here, I'm letting you know that once the deadline closes, I am hoping to maybe get the all the applications out to you guys by that Monday or Tuesday of the first week. And I'll give you guys instructions as it is, but it's basically going to be a Google form. And your job is to go through, read all the applications, and then choose what candidate you feel most fits that category based on the information that they provided you. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mrs. Strickland. Okay, is there any other discussion? Bless you. Okay, we will move on to item 11K, Cape Coral 2026 Science Festival. On tomorrow, February 7th, 2026, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., the city will be hosting their annual Science Festival at Cultural Park. At the last meeting, a few members of our council volunteered to help work this event, and we are excited to hear all about it at the next meeting. Mrs. Grigland has sent over the contact information for the lady running the event, so you all should be prepared going into tomorrow. At this time, are there any questions for myself or Mrs. Grigland about this event? Okay. Perfect. Once again, we will keep this obviously item as a debrief for next meeting, but I'm so thankful that we have our youth council members volunteering our community, meeting more citizens. Obviously, you're there to volunteer, but if someone comes up and asks you why you're here, it's a great way to spread more information about the youth council. Okay. We will now move on to item 11L, strategic plans and initiatives / review. In the last meeting, we reviewed our strategic plan initiatives. In this review, we discussed adding a section to compare attendance of our adopted roads based on attendance from last year and this year's policy. At this time, I'll now turn the floor over to Member Paragon to explain her research, and so we can discuss how and if we should include this research into our strategic plan.
All right, so basically the way that I did this is I use a platform called Monday. That's how I keep track of attendance for the adopted roads. I did that last term, and I also do it this term. You can see it says term of 24 to 25. You can see the attendance from last term, and then if you scroll to the next page, there's the attendance from this term. I also put very brief analysis at the bottom. As you can see, we have had a decrease in attendance to the adopted roads from last term to this term. So I hope that this information can help, especially the juniors the juniors and the seniors in the next term, just because, you want to improve the attendance, you want to increase the attendance as much as possible. Obviously, now we're doing it every 2 months, so either they can decide whether they want to do it every month again, or if they want to do it every other month. Those are very viable options to be able to increase this attendance. But as I noted there, we do still have one more adopted road, so I will go back, input that attendance, and then do a final analysis, and then we will also report that in the quarterly report so that you have all the information.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think this information is obviously very, eye-opening. We already have the attendance track, but I think the way you presented it is very clear. And then I think this is something that we should be considering putting in strategic initiatives. I'm not sure how and under what section. I would obviously be open to input on that, but I think it's a good idea at this point in time. Is there any discussion on that? I'm just trying to just see where would we be able to add it, I guess, is my concern. Okay. Mr. Hayden.
Just look at your categories, if there was, look at your community categories and determine where it might best fit.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to. Okay. I'm just trying to decide if maybe. Okay. This.
Well, I think we can always, like, if we have time after, because if you're going to the meeting for the surveys, then we can always just like discuss 5 minutes after, and we can like get together and talk about it.
Yeah, of course, because I don't want to go through every section right now and decide, and that might take too much time. And then we'll have that ready in. Do we all agree that we want this added somewhere into our strategic plan? Okay, from head nods, I'm taking yes. So we just now have to discuss where we want that section in. Okay, so then what I'll do is we will go over that on Sunday, figure out how to add it in, and then we can't officially add it in until we know all the data, of course, but at least we'll know how the plan, and then we'll have that set up to discuss at the March meeting. Does that sound good with everyone? Okay. Mr. Hayden?
No, the only last thing, or when we discussed it at the last meeting was if you wanted to start connecting certain topics like the mental health survey onto the backup material of the agenda. For instance, the mental health survey fits into this part.
Oh, yes.
And if you all want to do that, it's similar to what the city council does, that they'll apply whatever agenda issue there is back to the strategic plan, because at some point it all has to be connected. Your strategic plan should drive pretty much all your topics or be a part of all your topics. So that was the only other thing, I think, if you wanted to have further discussions on that, which helps keep you on plan or on course for the strategic plan and with your agenda items.
I completely agree. That is something I will definitely consider, and when I do my to-do list, I will make sure to add that in. So for everyone's main back material, to try to add a section discussing what part of that plan that fits into, to make sure we're constantly looking at it and stuff. Okay. So is there any more yes, Member Bice?
I just wanted to say that we had an adopt road on September 13th, but it's not on like the attendance.
Okay, I didn't even catch that. I wasn't there at that one, that's why I don't remember it. Okay.
Yeah, that's why, because I had to go back in my emails and like look for the pictures and look for all the stuff. So I will definitely add that back.
Okay.
I will add that in there.
Perfect, thank you, Member Bice, I appreciate that. Okay. Is everyone good so far? Is there any other discussion? Okay. We will now move on to item 11M, Joint Youth Council and City Council Workshop. Each year, we as a council ask the City Council if they would take the time to have an additional meeting with us so that we can ask them direct questions and present any data we may find. This year, the meeting will be held March 3rd in our City Council chambers at 4. I want to remind everyone that this event is extremely important and a privilege, so I want to see all 15 members in attendance. We would like the whole council to be there because we do not have many opportunities to speak firsthand with the City Council members, so please do everything in your power to be there. Now that the meeting is less than a month away, I would like to do a head count on who will be here at that meeting. Vice Chair Brown, you will not be there? Okay. Okay. And then Member Vice, no. Okay, and then Member Paragon, you will not be there? Okay. And then I will be reaching out to the members that are not here. But again, this meeting is probably the most important meeting we have all term.
we're hoping that all of the city council is there, so then just by basic respect, we want as many people of our council there as well. So, yeah, just please keep that in mind. And then at the last meeting, we decided on 3 topics of discussion, and we then had the chance to submit questions that fit under those 3 topics. In your back material, you'll see a list of questions, and if you have not already, I would really recommend looking over them. And then now that we have all of these questions, we must now decide a person to, I guess, sort of, research them, because obviously we're going to be asking that questions, but a lot of the times what happens is be like, okay, so what are your ideas on this specific topic? So we want to make sure that we're not going into a question blind and we have the right research to back that up. So please, like I said, at this time, go through the questions, and then the people that said they were going to be there, I would like one person obviously working on each question, and then we have a few, so some people might have to work on 2, but obviously I know it might be a little bit nerve-wracking to speak, but I guess for the format, last year, I'm assuming it'll be the same, we were sitting over there, they were sitting up here on the dais, so it's nothing too scary, and obviously they're here to give us resource and help. So yeah, at this time, if you have any questions in particular you would like to work on, please let me know, and then we'll just, for part of the backup material, you'll just submit to me your little information that you found, so that when question is going to be asked, you'll be prepared to have that dialogue with the city council members. So obviously I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 questions as well. I just obviously I would like you guys to tell me which ones you're more interested in. Vice Chair Brown.
Is there any way that I can do the last 2 questions under the future of Cape Coral?
Under future of Cape Coral? Okay, perfect. Member Johnson?
I can do the mental health questions, whether it be all 3 or 2 of them.
Okay. I'll just put you down for 2 right now, and we'll see. And then we still have for one of the Free Chief Cape Coral, and then all of the school reach out ones. Member Sanchez. Can I do question 2 and 3 of the school reach out? Okay.
Chair, for the record,
Yes.
since this meeting is televised and being recorded, can you just restate what the questions are?
Oh, yes.
I know it's in the backup material, but can you just?
Of course. Let me just, you said 2 and 3 of school reach out, correct? Okay, so the questions we came up with for mental health, the first one is, what are the city's long-term goals for improving mental health within the community? Our next one is, what has been done in the past year to improve access to mental health service? Our next one is, what can you do to make sure students have the resources they need at school? Then for school reach out, we have, one of the main concerns we receive from teens in our school reach out program is the growing vape and nicotine addiction in our city. What can the city council do to limit the chance of addiction and better support our youth? The second question is, JC Park is planned to open in the spring of 2026. Is the city interested in renovating any more parks? If so, is it possible to add more places for teens to play sports, as that has been another major request among our youth? The next question is, the city is known for hosting multiple events throughout the year to help appeal to younger generations, such as Trunk or Treat and the Trunk or Treat Festival and the Holiday Festival of Lights. Has the city considered hosting more events specifically for teens, like we did with our Movie in the Park event? Our next question is, many teens mentioned that feel like there's a lack of safe transportation around the city. What is the city doing to ensure that our youth can safely and affordably get transportation to jobs and other public spaces? And then the last one from that category is, aside from youth council, what long-term systems will the city have in place to ensure the youth perspective are consistently factored into decision making? And how can the city improve communication with the youth? And then for our final category, future of Cape Coral, how is the development of Binley Square and how is it going to be used to improve our health services in Cape Coral? And then what are the plans for future extensions in medical infrastructure? Then our next question is, the city recently approved a contract to build 6 new water supply wells. How will this improve water scarcity in Cape Coral, and what are the long-term goals to maintain water reliability in the city?
And then our last question is, in 2023, there was a 46% increase in homelessness. What is the city currently doing to combat the rising homelessness rate?
They're good
That was a lot of, sorry,
Good
that was a lot of
questions.
speaking at the same time. Okay, so then, yes, Member Johnson.
Sorry, just one thing about one of the questions for school reach out. It says that the one where it says the city is known for hosting multiple events and there's holiday festival events in there. I think we should take that out because the chamber does that event.
Oh,
It's not like a city run, it's more of a chamber run. So I think instead of mixing it together, we should take it out.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. Do we still have the chance to do that, Mrs. Kirkland?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I will send over the edited version.
You know, and remember, you know, essentially, even though the city council and the mayor will drive the process of the meeting, it's really your meeting.
Yeah.
It's your agenda. If you don't feel like you got the answer that you wanted, don't be afraid to ask a follow-up.
Yeah, of course.
Don't-
These
don't
are
be
just
afraid.
intro questions, if
Yes,
anything.
don't be afraid to ask them to be a little bit more specific about what their plans might be, because that's what helps generate good conversation. Even if council can't answer it, they may bring somebody else up from staff. Okay, now you've engaged them too, and you know that's how it really gets the conversation rolling.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so back to the questions. So we still need more people researching the school reach out ones, and then the first one for future of Cape Coral. And then again, I would hope everyone that is going will be speaking. So, Vice Chair Brown.
I can do the first one in the school reach out as well.
Okay. And then obviously some members are not here, so I can leave 1 or 2 questions for them as well. And then if anything, if no one is interested, then I can say something. But again, this is our whole council, so I would like as many, if not everyone, speaking. Member Jax.
I can be placed in any position for even the missing members, but I'll just say that because I have no preference.
Okay, perfect. So then, the first 3, can you do the last 2 on school reach out?
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just writing this down, and then at the end of the meeting, I'll send an email to everyone on the question they'll be doing, so that way it's very easy. So all the school reach out ones have been taken, mental health. And then I would just like if one person can do, or I'll just do that, yeah. I'll do 1 mental health question, and then 1 future of Cape Coral question, the first one. Does that sound good to everyone? And then, yeah, so everyone, again, I'll send out a list of the questions you're gonna be asking, but just make sure you have some research going on, like Advisor Hayden said, if there's a specific policy they're putting in place, or more research that just can be done overall, so that way, if they do ask, okay, so what do you have in mind, we are going into that prepared. So does that sound good to everyone? Okay, perfect. And then additionally, at the last meeting, we decided that we wanted to include a mini presentation of the data we've collected so far from our school reach out project and the mental health survey at this joint council meeting. In your backup material, you'll see a copy of the school reach out presentation, but there are some edits we are already planning to make. For example, we are going to be changing the background color to be more of youth council's colors, adding another slide explaining the trends from the pie charts at the last slide, fixing some grammar mistakes, and adding a thank you slide. But I'll briefly go through what our presentation is about. It's basically just going over the data that we have collected. We are a fact-finding group, so we want to make sure that all the information we're collecting, we're presenting it. So the first 2 slides are just intro and content. Then we have a slide going over the number of schools we're going to and responses. Then we have a slide on the 5 biggest issues and how many people have mentioned them. We have some specific quotes from these issues. Then we have a pie chart talking about if this issue affects them more locally, state, or federally. And then is the city council doing a good job, and some key quotes and some questions that people had. And then we had in our survey ways the council can improve, and those are some options that were listed. And then, yeah, their last slide is current, some other pie charts from the survey we collected. Yes, Member Paragonda.
I don't know if you have this under like your list of edits, but if you go to the second slide, it says that you visited 6 schools, and then Bishop Verot is under there, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, well, I'll change that. I worked with Member Montel-Perez on this, but I kind of gave her a guide and then made her fill in the rest, but yes. And then our second mini presentation, we will be working on that this Sunday with Member Johnson. So we'll have a similar one with our mental health survey, just kind of showing the council the data. And yeah, is there anything else that like major? Again, this will be gone through and will be submitted to Ms. Griglin by the 23rd. So yes, February 23rd, it has to be submitted. That is on record.
Right, I mean, that's a drop dead deadline because you
Yes.
have to remember, this is the city clerk's office putting it up, not myself. So we have to abide by the guidelines because she has a timeline that she needs to get it out to city council to review. So it's a must.
Yes.
Okay, and I honestly, I also like the way it truly is outlined. I think it's very easy on the reading, so we want to make sure we keep it like that. Because like I said, you know, this is going to the public as well as the city council, so you need something to the eyes, you know, and then this is where you said it best, and we're gonna say it over and over and over. At this meeting, we are a fact-finding group, so we want to show them that is what we are doing. We have the facts in front of us, and now we're presenting to you at the meeting. And she also said another good point, Chair, that, you know, I wanna keep pounding in is, yes, we have asked city council to join us, and yes, they have agreed to it, but really what they are looking for is the suggestions and the ideas that come from you guys. You came up with the questions, now you have to come up with the solutions.
Yes.
Or at least try to get to the solution and help them understand what are we lacking with the youth? Where does the youth want our future to go to? So just keep that in mind that even though they are joining us, this is really about you guys. Okay? Thanks.
Yes, of course. And then when all the edits are made and when the mental health survey one is out, before we send it to Ms. Griglin, I'll also make sure to email that to all of the council to see if there are any final edits that we make, because someone always may pick up something that we don't realize. That way, we all feel confident about it going in, and then we can discuss also in that who would like to say what slide and things like that. So, are we all feeling good about this meeting? I'm personally really excited. It's such a great opportunity, and I think we'll be good. So, any other questions? Okay. We will now move on to item 12, next meeting agenda topics. When it comes to the agenda in the next meeting, I recommend keeping items A through D. Yes, the G through I. Actually, I'm going to actually remove H.
Chair?
Yes.
You forgot the guest speaker.
Oh, yes. So sorry. As we said earlier, our guest speaker, Miss Zoe Malka, is here with us today, and she will be talking to us about environmental issues. So it's already up for you. Just gotta use that button. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so sorry it was off our order.
That's okay. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me today. My name is Zoe Malka. I'm a senior at Canterbury High School, and I'm the founder of Hoop for Help. Today, I want to talk about protecting wildlife by empowering youth and how youth leadership can shape the future of conservation right here in Cape Coral. When we talk about conservation, we often focus on policy or land management, but one of the most powerful tools we have is youth leadership. Young people are not just the future of conservation. We are already part of its present. The question is whether we are been given the opportunities and recognition to act. Wildlife, I will now talk about some wildlife in Cape Coral. Cape Coral is home to one of Florida's most iconic species, the burrowing owl. As you can see on this population map, burrowing owls are a threatened species. Cape Coral actually supports the largest population of the Florida burrowing owl anywhere in the world. However, across the United States, burrowing owls have lost much of their historic range, and in some areas, such as parts of Northern California, they are now extinct. Here in Cape Coral, burrowing owls live alongside us, nesting in open spaces, parks, and even residential neighborhoods. This coexistence is possible largely because of the efforts of local environmental organizations, including Cape Coral Friends of Wildlife, which works to protect and monitor active burrows. The stakes and pipes shown in these photos mark active burrows and are placed to protect them from disturbance. These owls rely heavily on public awareness and volunteers. Without these protections, many burrows are lost to development or accidental damage. In recent years, funding from Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission for official signage and buffer zones has been reduced, placing even more responsibility on the volunteers. Beyond land development, rat poison and vehicle collisions are the leading causes of burrowing owl population declines. Protecting these owls requires not only policy, but active community involvement, and youth can play a major role in that effort. Another critical species in our ecosystem is the gopher tortoise. Gopher tortoises are considered a keystone species because their burrows provide shelter for more than 350 other species. When tortoises are protected, their entire ecosystems benefit. These images show a gopher tortoise burrow and a relocation effort, which often occurs when land is cleared for development. While relocation can help individual animals, it also highlights how habitat loss continues to threaten wildlife. One local example of this challenge and also of community impact is Redfish Point. Redfish Point is a wetland area in Cape Coral that provides important habitat for wildlife and plays a key role in supporting the surrounding ecosystem. The map you see here shows the site and its zoning, and the photo shows the wetland environment it contains. Recently, this area was discussed for potential development, raising serious concerns about habitat loss and long-term environmental impacts. Just yesterday, thanks to strong advocacy and protests from local residents, the development request was rescinded. This outcome shows that community voices matter and that when people speak up, change is possible. However, it also highlights an important gap. While adults were largely leading this effort, youth voices are often missing from these conversations, even though the decisions being made will shape our future. How can we create opportunities for maximum involvement? The answer is by connecting youth directly to environmental and wildlife conservation. According to UNICEF, 51.2% of youth say that they do not feel empowered to take environmental action in their communities. And MIT Science Research Journal also finds that even when young people care about environmental issues, they often lack the support, resources, and structured programs needed to move awareness to active participation. So how can we create opportunities for maximum involvement in environmental stewardship? The answer is by connecting youth directly to environmental and wildlife conservation and giving them leadership roles, mentorship, and recognition. That is the mission behind Hoop for Help. Hoop for Help is a youth-led nonprofit organization that uses education paired with hands-on action to engage young people in wildlife conservation. Through this program, I've led 22 educational seminars paired with interactive projects, science-based, policy-focused, and art-driven, at schools and youth organizations such as the Heights Foundation. Moving forward, I would love to continue and expand Hoop for Help's mission by partnering with the Cape Coral Youth Council. By partnering with the council, I would be able to reach more schools, connect with more students, and build programs that give youth meaningful ways to take action. Here are some proposed initiatives that could make that possible. One initiative is a Youth Eco Award and Scholarship. This would recognize a high school student in Cape Coral who has led an environmental project in their community. Projects would be judged by a panel of local environmental experts, and the recipient would be honored at a special ceremony. This would promote environmental stewardship while showing youth that their efforts are valued. I'm also proposing a youth eco art contest for students in Lee and potentially across Collier County. Youth would submit artwork focused on wildlife and Youth would submit artwork focused on wildlife and environmental conservation. Submissions would be judged by local artists and environmental professionals with categories by age group and medium. Winning artwork would be publicly displayed, and it would help amplify youth voices. Another proposal is a youth environmental festival hosted in Cape Coral. This would be a large-scale event bringing together conservation groups, students, artists, and educators. It would include interactive booths, youth project showcases, hands-on science and art activities, and age-appropriate attractions. Hosted at a city park, school, or public venue, this festival would create an accessible, high-energy space that blends education and community engagement. Lastly, another potential opportunity is a borough maintenance day. This community volunteer event would bring together students from multiple schools to help maintain burrowing owl burrows at local parks. Students would work in small groups led by Hoop for Help youth leaders with guidance from Cape Coral Friends of Wildlife to ensure proper and ethical burrow care. This experience allows youth to actively protect a keystone species while learning responsibility and teamwork. By creating structured opportunities for leadership and action, we can empower young people to protect the wildlife that makes Cape Coral so special. I invite you to join me in promoting youth environmental stewardship in Lake County. And finally, if any students or schools are interested in starting a Hoop for Help chapter, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to support and grow this work together. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Well, that definitely gave us a lot to think about. I think specifically one of your things you mentioned was the Eco Award. We have our currently awards program, but we don't have any sort of eco category, so that's definitely something we could add to the next term. And then we have our city's Waterways Festival, which is kind of similar to what you were talking about. It's like very science-based. So maybe if we could have like a booth for specifically Hoop for Owls, I don't know, we could probably get in contact with her about that. And then, yeah, so our council, we have our junior and senior project, and so that's already picked for this term, but then our next term starts in May. So a lot of the juniors still will be on that council. So I think one of our rings in our strategic initiatives is environmental issues, and that's something I feel like we kind of struggle to touch on as a council. So I think, especially in the next term, Vice Chair and all the junior members, if that's a project that we can take up to maybe collaboration with Hoop for Owls, or just anything sort of like that. Or like, for example, one of our projects is Adopt a Road. We clean a road every month, but like you said, maybe we could do one project where we help preserve the burrowing owls and something like that. So I think that's really important to consider going into the next term. And then I know Aliso Oasis definitely doesn't have a chapter of this club, but it seems really amazing, and I'm glad that you guys, I didn't even know about the, oh my gosh, what was it called? No, the place that just yesterday that they decided to not
Redfish
develop. Redfish Point.
Yeah.
That was amazing, and I'm glad that that was no longer going to be developed. So thank you so much for your time, and we're really going to keep this into consideration, as I think, again, it's very important that we start touching more environmental issues in our council. Does anyone have any questions? Member Paragonda?
But I just want to say thank you so much to Zoe. I'm really glad that she got the opportunity to speak here today. Really, her coming here was like such a thing that happened in passing. I was at a Model UN conference and I saw her, and I was like, yeah, I was at a youth council thing, and she was like, oh, I've always wanted to go there. So I'm so excited that she got the opportunity to come here, and that you guys have like new things to look forward to for the next term. And I really hope that you can make some of these things happen to address those environmental concerns.
Yes, I agree. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, Member Feichtler?
Hi, I'm wondering when you started this club, because it seems very organized and I am interested in reaching out about some things.
I started this club in 2022 when I was a 8th grade, I think. Yes, 8th grade. And We have 4 chapters across different high schools in Lee County. If you are interested in starting another one, my email and my phone number are up there, or you can reach out through the website. And thank you so much for your support.
Any other questions?
Chair, really quick.
Yes.
If I could. Zoe, thank you. I was reading your, when she asked when you founded it in 2022, I was reading your website at the time, but I think what impressed me is you're staying on top of issues. Redfish Point just happened, and you were aware of that. That's a big deal.
Thank you.
Because that's been an ongoing conservation issue in this city, and it's important that we protect, at least in my opinion, that piece of land. So, well done on this, and yes, it is part of the strategic plan, and I think there will be plenty of opportunities there to partner with her and that organization moving forward.
Yes. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. We will now move on to item 12, next meeting agenda topics. So, like I said earlier, I think we need to definitely keep items A through D, and then I would say G and I as well. And then we'll change K into a debrief, but I think all of them, and then also the youth council workshop will be a debrief as well. So I would say A through D. Wait, actually all of them. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I had it written down and then things changed. Okay, A through D. No, A through E actually. A through E, G, and then I through M. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah, A through E, G, I through M. Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt items A through E, G, and then I through M with the removal of items F and H for the meeting held on March 6, 2026? Vice Chair Brown.
I move to adopt the agenda topics.
Is there a second? Member Feichthaler?
I second that motion.
Vice Chair Brown made the motion and Member Feichthaler seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item 13 is reports. Currently, we have no reports at this time. And item 14 is reports of the council liaison and advisors. Do we have any reports?
No report.
Councilwoman Nelson Lasher, do we have any reports? Okay. Then I will now move on to item 15, time and place of future meetings. The next regular meeting of the Cape Coral Youth Council is scheduled for Friday, March 6, 2026 at 3 p.m. in council chambers. Is there a motion to adjourn? Member Paragonda.
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Vice Chair Brown.
I second that.
Member Paragonda made the motion and Member Vice Chair Brown seconded it. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The meeting is now adjourned.